Sleep Story: The Old Baker's Quiet Morning. Part 1. Calm Bedtime Story for Adults. Long before the town awoke, when the streets were still wrapped in silence, an old baker named Elias unlocked the door to his tiny bakery. The little bell above the door gave its usual soft chime. It was the only sound for miles. Elias smiled as he lit a small lantern and tied on his worn linen apron. He had baked bread in this quiet village for almost 50 years, and every morning began in exactly the same peaceful way. He poured warm water into a wooden bowl, added fresh flour, a pinch of salt, and a little yeast that had been carefully cared for through generations. Then he began to knead the dough, slowly, patiently. The gentle rhythm of his hands felt almost like a quiet song. Outside, the sky slowly changed from deep blue to soft shades of pink and gold. Soon, the comforting aroma of fresh bread drifted through the empty streets. A sleepy orange cat stretched lazily beside the warm oven. The old clock on the wall ticked softly. Everything felt calm. Everything felt exactly as it should. Elias believed that every loaf of bread carried a little kindness. Some would comfort a lonely traveler, others would brighten a family's breakfast table. A simple loaf could quietly become part of someone's happiest memory. As the first birds began their gentle morning songs, Elias placed the first golden loaf onto the wooden shelf. He looked out the bakery window. Far down the peaceful road, a small child was slowly walking toward the bakery with something carefully wrapped in a blue cloth. Elias had never seen the child before, and somehow, he felt that this quiet morning was about to become unforgettable.
The little bell above the bakery door gave a soft, familiar chime. The child stepped inside quietly, holding the small blue cloth close to his chest. He looked around with curious eyes, taking in the warm wooden shelves, the glowing oven, and the comforting scent of freshly baked bread. Elias greeted him with a gentle smile. "Good morning," he said softly. The child smiled back but said very little. Instead, he carefully unfolded the blue cloth. Inside was a small wooden recipe book. Its corners were worn smooth with age, and its pages carried the faint aroma of flour and cinnamon. "My grandmother asked me to bring this to you," the boy whispered. Elias looked at the book in surprise. He recognized it immediately. Many years ago, before he had opened his bakery, he had lent the recipe book to a close friend who dreamed of becoming a baker. Life had taken them in different directions, and over time, Elias had believed the little book was lost forever. He gently turned the pages. Between the recipes for bread, sweet rolls, and apple cakes, he found a tiny handwritten note. "Thank you for teaching me that good bread is made with patience, not hurry." Elias smiled warmly. The words filled the quiet bakery with memories as comforting as the smell of fresh bread. He placed a warm loaf into a paper bag and handed it to the boy. "This is for your grandmother," he said. The boy thanked him with a bright smile before walking peacefully back down the quiet village road. Elias watched from the window until the child disappeared beyond the old oak trees. The morning sun climbed a little higher, the bakery filled with golden light, and somehow the warm loaf that had just left his hands felt like it had carried a little piece of the past safely home. After the little boy disappeared down the quiet village road, the bakery became peaceful once again. The old clock ticked gently. The fire in the oven crackled with a soft, comforting sound. Outside, the village slowly began to wake. A milk cart rolled along the cobblestone street. Birds sang from the rooftops, and a cool morning breeze drifted through the open window, carrying the scent of blooming flowers. Elias carefully placed the old recipe book on a wooden shelf beside the oven. He wasn't in a hurry to open it again. Some memories, he believed, were like fresh bread. They were best enjoyed slowly. As the morning passed, familiar faces stopped by the bakery. A schoolteacher bought 2 small rolls. An elderly fisherman picked up his usual round loaf. A young couple shared a warm cinnamon bun, smiling quietly as they watched the sunrise. No one noticed that Elias seemed happier than usual. Every loaf he wrapped felt a little lighter. Every smile he gave felt a little warmer. When the afternoon arrived, the bakery grew quiet once more. Elias poured himself a cup of hot tea and finally opened the old recipe book again. Near the very last page, tucked between two faded recipes, he found something he had never seen before. It was not a recipe. It was a simple hand-drawn map. In one corner, written in neat, careful handwriting, were the words, "For the day you remember where every journey truly begins." Elias looked at the map for a long moment. He smiled softly. Somewhere beyond the rolling hills, hidden among quiet fields and old oak trees, there was one place he had not visited in almost 50 years. Perhaps tomorrow morning. It was finally time to go.